Welcome back to Super Tuesday Recap with your host, Chris here. And filling in for Deepon, we have Rod from the Black Eye Tips. What's going on, Rod?
What is going on, party people?
Nothing much here. So we just did the Flash review, and I had you kind of, give your opinions on last season of Flash, because I kind of knew that you weren't. I think everybody kind of knew the last season of Flash was it wasn't good. Like, I'm just gonna fuck it. I'm just gonna say it. I mean, there were some good episodes, but it was, as a whole, it wasn't good. But I don't think I have to do it with this show, because with Legends Tomorrow, this show is fucking awesome, and it has been around 2 seasons, y'all. Like,
ever since the Hawk people got killed or left the show, this show has been all cylinders forward. I love that the show is silly. It embraces its comic book bullshit. They don't care about all these time anomalies and stuff that, they were creating in season 2. And even though they kind of quote unquote come back in this season, they're not like specific. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, remember when y'all did this thing? Like, the show kind of understands, like, as fans, we're along for the ride. And the characters are all able to do comedy and do serious. The action scenes are filmed so fantastically. I never get tired of them. I could not say more positive about this damn show. It's so great.
Yeah, it is an amazing show. So we're doing season 3, episode 5, Return of the Mack, which kind of ties into one of the fight scenes, which
might have my favorite action scene of all time. Like, I'm not lying. I didn't post it, guys, but I recorded the scene on my TV to share on the internet, because I'm like, if you're not watching this fucking show, what's wrong with you?
Like that. We'll get into that. The Legends run into Rip in 1897 London, where they attempt to hunt down a time-traveling vampire. This episode... So first of all, there are so many things that work with this episode, because this is... We were just talking about this last episode, about... hey, Wally West and the Flash juggling all these different characters. Legend of Tomorrow is a show that does it. They juggle all of their characters. Everybody gets their moment. You never really feel like somebody's not getting their shot. Ever since season 2 started, like, they got it. Like, once they realize that, hey, listen, we kind of don't fuck with Rip Hunter, but we really do fuck with Sarah Lance. Make her Captain Lance and just go from there. Ever since they've done that, it's all there. Like, everybody gets a moment in this episode. They move a plot forward with Amaya and Zari. We get Nate being Nate. I hate Nate, but he's being Nate. You get Sarah. You get Rip. You get Mick. Mick Roy has been the MVP for me of the season, because
I don't even call. By the way, I don't even call Nate Nate. Like, I think I'd call him Hank or something. Like, I don't even call him by his real name. I hate him so much. like, I just realized that when you said Nate, I was like, have I been calling this nigga Hank for like and I didn't always do it, but it was after he just started getting on my nerves. I just was like, he looked like a Hank. Damn.
No, I mean, but that's,
I think I've been calling him Hank for a smooth month and a half, and I'm not joking, y'all.
Look. Oh man. Oh God. I can't. No, I can't. You know what? From now on, Nate's Hank. And when Deepom comes back, I'm gonna start calling Nate Hank, and I'm gonna see if he picks up on it. He's gonna fucking hate me.
He is trash, bro.
He is so trash. He's so trash. He's so
like, what happened? What, like, remember when he was just a hemophiliac that stayed on the fucking, like, on the ship? Like, I want to go back to him just staying on the ship and everyone else going on missions.
Because like, dude, you always have performance issues too. It's like, oh, last week it was I'm too dehydrated. This week it's they gave me something I can't steal up. It's like, this might be why I don't fuck with you no more, dude.
Come on, dog. You don't deserve that beautiful black queen.
Right. Just like, no. You don't deserve all that. No. Get out of here. So,
Like the show reads my mind because it was literally at the point where I was like, why do you even fuck with him? When she was like, and I'm going back to Africa. Bye. I was like, you know what? This is the first time I ever rooted for somebody going back to Africa.
Right. But it's just been the way they do things. Like Mick has become this like hilarious guy on the ship because he's so deadpan. So we've now found that Mick has a thing for musicals. Remember last thing he had the ninjas. He was so excited. It was like ninjas, they exist. They're around
Also,
here.
man, I did not see that coming when Captain Cole died because when Captain Cole was on the show, it's like Mick was funny sometimes, but Cole was really the one who cracked the jokes.
Right.
You know? And both of those actors, man, like they were just chewing up the scenery, man. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of shit you need that we don't always get on some of these shows, but Legends, it just seems like they really specialize in getting those actors who love to bite into the comic book villain role. And that they were chewing up the scenery with their chemistry together. Mm-hmm. But I thought when they broke up, I was like, oh man, Mick by himself. He's the deadpan one. He's the one who's always like, you know, like not being that funny. Dude, he's even funnier without Code. I can't believe it.
Right. So, and I think that this shows you how. I think this is why Legends is able to do this big ensemble cast and be able to feel like everybody gets their moment because they're not writing more for these characters. They just have these quick moments. Like, for instance, when Nate calls the team together to kind of show them that, well, I figured out that there's a pattern to these anachronisms, and here are these two outliers right here we should go check out. When he calls the team there, he's like, and Mick, I have beer. And Mick's like, oh, beer. And he perks up and he's like, I'm not coming to a team meeting. And he does, it's just like, it's a quick like 10 to 15 second thing, but it sticks with you because it's so fucking hilarious. And he doesn't do, and then he shows up and he gets the beer, like beer for breakfast. It's just like.
Last week when he sees Ray as a kid stealing from the fucking the newspaper stand, and he just gives him a look like, yeah. Like, just that moment right there took me the fuck out, man. Mick is a psychopath.
Yo, he's so crazy. So then when he goes, so this episode we find out he has a thing for vampires. Like, you're like, you believe in vampires? And when they show up at the corners, and the first thing he does is stab the body with the stake.
Dude, first of all, any actually, damn, I forgot to mention this on the Arrow broadcast, but I'll do this one now. There were two things that stuck out to me, right? Two TV tropes that I love / hate. One of them is this one where they go, vampires, and I'm like, nigga, you're on a time traveling ship and everyone has superpowers. The fuck you mean you don't believe in vampires? Bitch, you better believe in everything. Like, there's nothing I can tell you your ass better not believe. You've seen dinosaurs, dog. What are you talking about?
Right.
So that one always kills me. And then the second one, they did this on the Flash, but they didn't they didn't make the point. But when they're tracking down Amunet, and Iris asked Felicity, like, well, can you use the satellite to maybe track the specific type of metal that she uses? And she's like, use it to do such and such alloy to such and she's like, girl, please, right? And I'm like, you know what kills me? The satellites on TV shows might as well be magic. Like, they're always in the right position. They can track anything you can think of. Like, can you find a 6-foot man with a limp who's wearing a raincoat? It's like, what section of town? I can find him. There he is. And you're like, that's not how satellites work at all.
Right, because motherfuckers be like, yo, because in real life, it's like, yo, is the satellite in position? No. Well, okay, well, in 18 hours.
Right, like in real life, you've ever seen satellite footage of like those times where people bomb other countries and shit? Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm always like, how the fuck did you even know if those were the insurgents or you just blew up a birthday party? Do you even fucking know? Because I could never know. And they're just like, I'm closing up on his face. I'm like, how is that possible?
Right. Well, it's like, no, I can't believe we're doing this. I watch the ID channel all the time. I always talk about this, right? And so they actually have a show, I think it's called like See No Evil, where it's like they use like CTV footage and things like that. It shows you that the cops are using this to kind of piece together like crimes and things like that. And every time I watch it, I'm like, we were watching these grainy, pixelated videos. I'm like, it's like, we couldn't get the license plate. I'm like, no shit. So then in TV and movies, when they do that shit and they have the camera from outside of a fucking 7-Eleven and they use it and they zoom in on a fucking license plate. I'm like, hey dude, what kind of camera is outside of that 7-Eleven? Because there's no way in hell. No way.
The idea of zoom in and then enhance, quote unquote,
right.
is ridiculous.
Right.
If you just think about what a fucking camera does when it zooms in, it's just taking the same pixels and making them bigger. You can't enhance that, dog. It can only degrade.
Yo, I love it. I love it how when you enhance it, when you zoom in and enhance, it somehow gets clearer than when it was before. I'm like, but that's not how that works. Between
like,
that, yeah.
It's like TV, like HD movie level quality when you enhance. Do you watch Preacher at all?
No, I watched part of the first season.
Yeah, first season's just okay. It's like, I might even go as far as to say you can skip it and go straight to season 2, and season 2 is the shit. Like season 1, I'd say like, I don't know, 6, 7 out of 10, maybe at best. Season 2, 10 out of 10, right? Anyway, they have this scene where he brings a videotape in and he brings it into like the Best Buy guys. And he's like, I need to know the serial number on this gun. And they fucking put the tape in. They're like, yeah, we can't see it. He's like, can't you like enhance? He's like, what is this, fucking a movie? Like, no, right? Like, that's it. We can't see it. Like, what do you want us to do? And he's like, nah, like zoom in, make sure we can see if you can tell who's shooting this gun. And so they like take the tape back, and then he comes back a couple hours later and he's like, so did you guys, were you able to find out? And they're like, no one can tell. And he's like, no one could tell? Damn. And they're like, why are you mad? And he was like, because I can't find who shot the gun. And they were like, oh, we thought you shot him, and you were trying to make sure that no one could tell it was you. Because no one can do that shit to a tape, man. It's so ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah,
no,
I'm sorry.
No, man. It's like, the tropes, like, again, you just live with them. Like, my favorite one is that happens in everything. Everything in an action movie got to do. It's the one-hit knockout that leaves a guy knocked out for like hours. Because in real life, you hit a motherfucker that hard that they're knocked out for hours, then they get dead. All right?
Yo, you killed a man, dude. Like, you can't hit someone hard enough. Like, we all watch football.
Right.
No one that gets a concussion gets it that way. They're always like kind of in and out of it, and sometimes just a couple minutes. Like, no one goes, I'm gonna just lie on the field for 2 hours.
Right. If you get knocked out like that, first of all, you're not gonna go limp. You're gonna go stiff. Like we've seen that happen, right? In football, right? Dude gets hit, he turns stiff as a board, and you're like, oh, that nigga's out. Like, he's not gonna play for a while. Like, get the stretcher, he's done. And even then, he starts moving after at most 30 seconds, right? These motherfuckers get knocked out, go limp, and it's like, oh, how long have I been out?
It's always the perfect amount of time for however long the good guy needs to.
Right.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
Punch him in the face, I'm going to be knocked out for 45 minutes.
Right.
And then the other one that kills me, the knockout drug that always works immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Like you shoot someone with a syringe of whatever, and they're always like, I'm like, we've all had surgery. Like, that shit don't happen right away. Like, you got to count down and all kinds of shit.
How long have I been out? 6 hours. Damn. Like, no, you died. You died, sir. You are no longer alive.
That shit, and then the people that get shot, but then like they sleep one day and then the next day they're moving. You're like, that's not how that would work.
Right. I rubbed some tussin on it. It's okay. Just like,
don't worry, it went straight through. Like, I know you don't watch The Walking Dead anymore, but they had a dude that got shot straight through this week, and that nigga died. And I was like, exactly. Like, dude was like, don't worry, it went straight through. They came back, that nigga was a zombie.
like I love that because it's like, yo, motherfucker gets a paper cut, right? And it's like freaking the fuck out. Nigga, you just got shot. It went through and through. Nigga, you still got shot. Like all this,
out of two holes.
Right? Like I can see through your back from your front. Like that's all that means. Like, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I know this is Listening Tomorrow, and we're reviewing this, but we're a little off. See, this is what happens when you get me and Rod together. You're not listening to the Nerd Off. This is what you get. This is what happens. This is why the Nerd Offs go. Every time we do a Nerd Off, Rod is like, "We're not going to be here long, guys. We only have like a few news articles." And I'm sitting there going, "All right, nigga." 3.5 hours later.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, we gotta wrap up. I didn't even keep this long.
Right. But anyway, yeah, man. But this episode, again, it's just a couple things. So when the season first started, and I think that Legend of Tomorrow is doing something that the other Arrow shows. And I'm leaving Supergirl out of this. I don't think they count because their first season was on CBS. That the other Arrow shows Arrowverse shows haven't been able to do. I think they're beating the third season curse. Because Arrow and the Flash, even if I like the third season of Arrow, but I understand why people didn't. They've all had third season curses, and I was kind of nervous about Legend of Tomorrow at first, and it wasn't the Nate thing. It was more along the lines of those first 2 episodes. They kept making it seem like the Legends were like some royal fuck ups, and I'm like, okay, they're unconventional, but they're not like incompetent like they were making them seem like at the beginning of the season. I'm like, they're different. I compare it to like professional sports, right? Like you take the worst athlete on any sports team, they'll still bust your ass though. Right. Because they're still a top level athlete. And that's how I view the Legends. It's like they'll mess up, and compared to like the Time Bureau, they'll mess up here and there, but not like to the point of why are you guys even around? So, and I like that the last couple episodes are kind of gotten away from this idea that the Legends are such great fuck ups. Because again, in this episode, you're like, oh no, the Legends are actually 100% right here. Like Rip is 100% wrong.
It's
like
kind of twofold, right? Because like, okay, so here's my thing. I think the Legends are huge fuck ups, right? Like they are terrible at the things that they set out to do because they always have these theories. And I mean, the show would literally not be fun if they just showed up, everything went according to plan.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, there's always some fucked up hitch where it's like, damn, like, but because of time travel, that's what makes it fun is that they're able to, like, get back on track through very unconventional ways.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I understand why the Time Bureau in its newest iteration this season would be like, Legends, can you please stop trying to help? Like, you guys caused a whole lot of time anomalies. Sure, you saved all of Time Continuum. Like, we appreciate it. Right. But now it's time for us, let's call them Molly the maid of the of the time stream. They just want to like routine clean up shit. And the fucking Legends are like, nah, we'll clean up our own mess. And I love them because they do that. But I also like laughing at whenever they like fuck up. I mean, them niggas almost died by the circus, bruh. Like, it's so fun, but it's also like you guys are. What is the best way to describe them? You guys are like the Eli Manning of time travel. Like you guys have some Super Bowls, you got some highlights. But you got a lot of regular season interceptions all throughout this shit, too.
They're Brett Favre. They Brett Favre in it.
They got the highlights, dog. You cannot deny that these niggas have a resume of kicking some ass.
Right.
Like, you beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. But but y'all were 8-8 going into the playoffs.
Right,
Okay?
right. You did have 5 interceptions that game. Well, and I think it comes down to the idea of also, I mean, we're using all these analogies. It's just like, the Time Barrel is a scalpel, and the Legends are definitely a hammer, right? They're definitely not. They're definitely gonna. They're not gonna be inconspicuous. They're not gonna come in and sneak under the radar. And yeah, so it was just like I said. There were just so many little things like Jax losing his short term memory. Because they were trying to, because Ray, Ray was like, we're gonna find a way to break the psychic link so we can do all this stuff, and Jack started forgetting certain things in the short term, like
he gave him the serum and then said, "Oh, by the way, there's gonna be some side effects."
Which again, that's so Ray. Like it's Ray. It's like you couldn't tell me that first. It's just you might start forgetting things in the short term, like when and then the way. The way that what is it? That Franz would play Jax would play Jax on this one when he was standing there and Rip shows. It was like, yeah, and all of a sudden just like, yo, Rip, where'd you come from? I'm like, yo, this nigga's good. This is good. Like, cause he would just all of a sudden switch into like, how did I get here? What are we doing? And I'm like, oh my God. Like, he is such a liability right now.
Nigga, next week when they switch bodies, I'm going to lose my mind.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
So good.
It's going to be so good. What was I going to go to? So, one of the things, again, that I think I'm going to save the, let's save the Sarah Lance Rip thing for later. Okay. Let's talk a little bit, because I think that was really good, and I think it also, I think it's a bigger plot point we're going to see throughout the season. I like that. I think cause I didn't read the so maybe I did. You know what it is? I think it was the TV guide. Because somewhere I read somewhere where it's like giving a synopsis for the episode, and they were like, and Amaya struggles to connect with Zari, and so when I saw that, I was like, oh man, are they going to do this weird thing where she's very awkwardly trying to connect with this woman because she has a totem and they both have totems and she needs her help? Are they going to do that thing? And it wasn't that. It wasn't like that. Like, I mean, obviously there was still some awkwardness there, and she was having trouble connecting, and she clearly doesn't know what doors are and what it means to knock and personal space. But it didn't feel like super awkward, right? Like, we've seen this before where they kind of. It's almost like how when the first couple episodes of Arrow, where Oliver was trying to connect to his son, you're like, yeah, you're not good at this. You don't know how to talk to your own son. But that's not what they did with Amaya and Zari here.
She walked in her room and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you praying." She's like, "I'm not praying. I was looking for my phone or some shit."
Right.
She's like, "I'm looking for my earring." Right. Mecca's that way.
Right. What one is a good way to kind of I think so. Remember when Thor Ragnarok came out and they were talking about how Valkyrie was supposed to be bisexual, and they're like, oh, we couldn't fit in the movie, and they were like, well, you can fit things like that in the movie. You can do like small things. This is one of the ways where they establish Zari's religion, and it was such a simple thing. It's like, no, Mecca's the other way. I'm not praying. I'm just doing something else. So they've kind of established her religion without actually going out of the way of being heavy-handed with it. Like, oh, look, she's Muslim. Like, no, you just have a throwaway line like that, and it's established. Boom, right. Done. So I really like how they did that. But again, them going around the idea of her Amaya not respecting boundaries, coming in the room. Even at the last time where she opened the door and then she knocked, and so just like, yeah, you're still not understanding how knocking works. Like, that's not, you don't open the door and then knock. Like, that's not how that works. It's just, come on, ma'am. So I enjoyed that, and even down to, I even like the idea of Zari asking us, like, hey, we're on a time ship, so we can save my family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. And I can't wait until she finds out that while they told her no, Stein has a whole daughter that shouldn't exist.
Yo, not just that, but all of them have tried it.
Right.
Rip initially started the fucking mission when he was a rogue because he wanted to save his family specifically.
Yes.
Like, that's the thing. Like, they all have had at least one episode, if not more, of them being like, actually, fuck that bullshit. Even Sarah was like, I'm just gonna fucking kill Dark and at least my sister will be alive.
Right.
And that was like her whole story arc of season 2, I believe.
Yeah,
so,
2. Yep.
You know, it's like, I just love when they all get high and mighty about the rules of time, and I'm like, yeah, but you niggas do what y'all want to
do. Right. Right. Like, you guys literally broke time last year. So, for all you know, you breaking time could be why her whatchamacallit is dead. Her brother's dead. So, I'm just saying. Just saying. I love that they, again, I think this season across the Arrowverse, they're doing a really good job with some of the cameos. So you get a Curtis cameo in this episode, just real quick. You know, why not have him, call back to Curtis, ask him to trace the phone because Oliver Queen's fingerprints were on the watch. Trace it, and they're like, oh, Damien Darhk. So we bring back. I was wondering how they would bring back Damien Darhk, and this is how they do it. And I think this is a scarier Damien Darhk because this is Damien Darhk after he died.
Yeah.
So now you just, and he has his magic.
I also love that he came back with his memories.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's like, oh, I remember that. It's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
He gonna still be talking, because listen, Dark, if he ain't talking shit, ain't my Dark. Like, right. I love that he came back still talking shit. And that fight scene where he whooped everybody's ass to return to Mack, top 5 fight scene in the history of the show.
That shit was fucking great. Like, when he paused on old boy and then came and kicked him.
Dog, he paused, reset the beat, and then kicked that nigga. Come on. Like, that shit was like, Return of the Mack. Oh my God. Return of the Mack. I said, this dude is having the time of his life, man. That's what I was talking about earlier when I said this show just, they, like the Arrow universe in general, but this show specifically, they get those guys who want to play a villain. Mm-hmm. And you can just fucking tell, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Neil McDonough. Oh, so that was Eleanor. Okay. And so the mystic at the end, the woman who was leading the cult is Eleanor. That's actually his daughter.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Because
I did not realize it.
I didn't realize until I saw the IMDb, because I'm like, his daughter's Eleanor, the one that was in from Arrow. So this is because she's a time traveler. She's got to be a time traveler now because she knows Mollis. So I did not pick that up until I saw her name. I was trying to figure out who her character name was, and they have Eleanor here, and they have Eleanor Darhk. And I'm like, oh, that's his daughter. Oh shit, that makes this even. Oh, this is gonna be so bad. I don't mean bad in a bad way. I mean this bad in a bad for the Legends way. Like,
yeah, they're gonna definitely fuck this up.
Oh man, oh god, Damien Darhk.
I love that. By the way, I thought she did a great job. You know, like the actress who
Courtney Ford who played Eleanor. Oh yeah,
like especially that part where Mollis takes over her body or whatever, and she's doing the voice of, the dark voice talking to, I think, Rip Hunter at the time. Mm-hmm. Like, I fucking love that shit, man. Like, she did such a great job, and I didn't know she was going to be recurring at that time, but I'm looking forward to seeing her the rest of the season now.
Yeah, like for some reason, like, because I don't pay attention to the casting news, but I did remember them saying that Eleanor, they're bringing some actors in to play Eleanor, and I just didn't register to me. And then I'm looking at the IMDb, and I'm like, oh, son of a bitch, that makes a lot of sense. Go figure.
So is that his daughter from Arrow?
I'm thinking so, because you remember she didn't die. He died, but she was still alive. And if Eleanor's from if this Eleanor is from after that, it makes if she's working with Mollis, that makes sense.
That could be a really cool. That would be really cool if that turns out like whatever the backstory is there.
Yeah, like it isn't funny. Like again, I liked season 4 of Arrow, but it really feels like Damien Dark's best stuff so far has been on Legends of Tomorrow. Because him on Legends, when they brought in the Legion of Doom, that was great. And this episode here with him, like once they opened that case up, like it wasn't until like right before Curtis, when Curtis was like, "Oh yeah, you better be sitting down. I know who it is." I was like, "Oh son of a bitch, it's Damien Darhk," because it's like, oh, like okay, Oliver fingerprint is on it. It's got this timepiece from their time. So who the fuck could it have been? And I'm like, and I knew Damien Darhk was gonna be back on this show, and all of a sudden it was like, oh my god, it's Damien Darhk. Close the casket and run. Close the casket and run. When they open,
when Sarah pulls fucking Rip to the side and goes, yeah, so I'm not reanimating Damien Darhk.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck what the plan is, what the importance of the timeline is. And he's like, it sounds like you're emotionally compromised. She's like, he killed my sister and I still let that nigga live last season. So it ain't that. We just need to stop letting dangerous motherfuckers come back to life.
Mm-hmm. And this goes to where I'm like, so let's get into the Rip and Sarah thing. Like, I love what they did here because again, to me, Rip has always been a terrible leader because he's selfish and he thinks he can do all these things by himself and he thinks he's the only one that can do it. And it's why he didn't work well as captain of the Wave Rider in season 1. And Sarah calling him out on that shit, mwah, beautiful. I loved it.
You know, and he always had a dark side, always, even from season 1. Like the entire point of him gathering the team is that they're expendable.
Yes.
Like his thing is like, no one's gonna miss these motherfuckers, so I can take them on a dangerous mission where they all get killed. Fuck them. You know, like that was a thing. He never like. It's always been this ulterior motive with him, and like I love it in a way because he's like their Captain Ahab. But I always kind of understood that Rip's not really a good guy.
No.
This episode really hit home on that.
He had all those agents die, and it goes to the other thing. Like Sarah called him, was like, "You don't care about anybody else."
Right.
He doesn't. All those agents died because Rip only cares about the mission, and that's not how Sarah runs the Legends. The reason why Sarah's in charge, the reason why that works is because, well, you know, she cares about everybody. Almost like no man left behind. How much
better did the show become?
Yes.
After she started treating it like family. And that's the thing about this show that I just don't think other shows can do. Which is, listen, they took Sarah Lance from a fucking side chick to this. Like, to the most integral part of this fucking show and the Legends of Tomorrow universe. I just don't know that the other shows have the creativity or the leeway to be able to do stuff like that. And I fucking love this show because you're thinking stuff like, man, I don't know why Sarah's not the fucking leader. She's the one that's doing, and then boom, there's an episode where she becomes a leader. That kind of stuff.
Remember the episode, I think it was last season, where Stein tried to take over as a leader, and everybody's like, come on, dude. It's Sarah. Seriously,
dude.
Like, Sarah.
He's like, I'm the smartest, and no one's listening to him and shit. You know, like it's like it's that kind of shit. And she's still like the most kick ass. She's a bisexual character. I mean, I know we kind of talked about Valkyrie, but like, listen, Valkyrie. If they wrote Valkyrie the way they wrote Sarah Lance, like, woo, people would be in there blushing in those theaters.
Right.
Her Mack game is so strong.
She slept with the queen. He slept with the queen last season, yo.
Bruh.
She deflowered. She deflowered the queen. All right.
This is still your girl, bruh.
Right.
She really up Trey Songz, the queen.
She really will. So, I mean, remember when they were stuck in time, They were stuck to I can't remember if that was the first season or second time. I think it was the first season. No, maybe it was the second season.
I think it was second. Which she was like in the 50s as a nurse and was like fucking some shit.
Yes. Yes.
Bruh, the realest.
Sarah Ledge, the realest. So again, but even in this episode, she's just like, yo, we need to talk. Like, what you're doing here. And then Rip goes off and does his own thing and gets all these people killed because he doesn't fucking listen. And it was disaster. And I love that Sarah kind of basically ratted him out to the Time Bureau. It's like, yo, you know what? I did learn from you. I learned doing this from you. To be a cold-hearted son of a bitch. And that's what I'm going to be. And she was just like, yo. And Rip, like I said, Rip has always been this hypocritical asshole who thinks he knows all this stuff. But it's like, yo, I can't remember. 'Cause I only watched it. I watched it earlier this morning. But I think Sarah even says this. It's like, yo, there's a reason why you create all these groups and end up not leading them.
Right.
You created the Time Bureau, but somehow you're not the director of the Time Bureau. You know, you created the Legends, and somehow you're not You're not in charge of the Legends. It's like, why is that? Because you know you can't do this. You know nobody's gonna follow you into this, and you know you don't have what it takes. Mm-hmm. You know, and here's the thing. I believe that Rip's heart is in the right place in the fact that, you know, Mollis is going to be a problem. Like, just from what we saw in this episode, I don't know what Mollis' plan for bringing Damien Darhk back. Like, I don't think he was trying to take over his body, but it's like if he needs Damien Darhk for some reason, that's even scarier. Because if he puts together something like Reverse Flash did last season and puts together a bunch of other villains together, that's scary.
I mean, Rip is a by any means necessary ass nigga. So like, I get why he's probably correct in that there's something serious out there that's bigger than everything. Because he's not like he's wrong, right? He's always right that there's a threat. The problem is his methods are worse than the threat sometimes. Mm-hmm. So like, I trust Sarah to do with that information the right thing. And I assume that at some point they'll be bailing Rip out of time jail. And, you know, it'll be our typical our crew against the all of time at the same time thing. And I'm okay with that. Like, especially if Darhk gets to be Mollusk. Like, we got all my favorite things in the same place happening at the same time. Let's go.
Right. Like I said, this is... I really enjoy what they did here, and kind of, and also it sets with the idea of the Time Bureau now is not going to be chasing after the Legends, so it kind of gets that off the back too. Which again, I think that once they stopped making so that the Legends were on the run from the Time Bureau, it made it easier. Which again is something they learned from the first season, because that's the other thing that was working against them in the first season was that. First, we had the Hulk storyline, which sucked. You had Rip, who we really didn't trust, because his entire thing was, well, you guys can't change the future, can't change the past, but I'm trying to change my past so that my family doesn't die, which was like, dude, what the fuck?
Total bullshit.
Yeah, complete bullshit. And then after a certain point, they were being chased by the Time Masters. So it's like, and that was happening, that was like an entire season type deal. Here, we're now 5 episodes in. The last 2-3 episodes hasn't even dealt with that, you know? Yeah. So, I just really enjoyed that. Got to mention this, too. Yo, they brought in another... they got Victor Garber playing another Stein.
Yes. Dude, what is up with Doppelganger Stein? Like, he even got the evil twin mustache thing going.
Right.
That shit slayed me. As soon as he showed up with that mustache, I was like, oh, what the fuck? And Hank goes, Stein?
Right.
Like, I love that they made Hank the fucking bait, too.
Yes.
They were like, he goes, because I'm handsome. And Mick goes, because you're pretty.
You got a pretty mouth.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. No, this show is so much fun. Like, again, this is... I like the other 2 shows. I love Arrow. I love the Flash, but Legends of Tomorrow is just a different animal for me. It's so much fun, but they do get into serious stuff. Like, shoot, when Zari went back, she was like, oh no, I don't believe in this stuff. This is bullshit. and then Eleanor started talking like her brother, and fucked her entire shit up. Dude, like again,
and then we find out like her brother died, and she feels responsible for her brother's death.
Like you get these, you get these serious moments, but like again, you get the moment, you get the serious moments, you get the fun family moments, like with Stein singing the lullaby to his grandson. You know, you get that
and Zari like goes and gives away her
her
amulet, man. Like that shit was serious, and also
she gave it away. She gave it away like in the Dark Knight, where the dude gives away. He's like, just give it to me. You can tell him I took it from you. You know, it's just like.
And then the other one was Stein and fucking Jefferson have that really deep moment where we find out he only wanted to break the psychic connection because Stein misses his family so much that he started getting sad himself. He was like, I was feeling like a hole in my heart because how much you miss your family, you know? And they're so in opposite positions. And Jefferson has such a good heart because, I mean, dude, you got abducted onto a ship. Like, if you would have wanted to like get the fuck off and never come back, it would have been understandable.
Right.
You know, and Stein they have really developed a relationship because Stein's staying on the ship because Jefferson wants to be on the ship.
Yeah.
And Jefferson cared so much about him, he wanted to break Firestar, break the entire psychic bond just so this man could go back to his regular life. That was so beautiful. Yeah,
it's great. Like, again, you get the funny, silly moments, but you also get like these real moments as well. And yeah, man, this show is so good, so good. So, do you got anything? I'm trying to check my notes, see if I have anything else. I think that was pretty much it because I don't even really take notes for this one. I'm just like, yo, I just watch and just have fun.
Who was the creepy dude with the vampire needles though? That nigga was.
Oh, yo, who was this dude? Did they even have a name for him?
He didn't even have powers, man, and he was just creepy as fuck. Like he was like, I'm just gonna take this time travel blood and do some things with it.
Yo, they didn't have him as a lab assistant. Yo, they don't even have.
Yo, he was look so creepy.
Bro.
Hank was in thinking Return of the Mack and shit.
Oh man,
he was doing the ad libs to Return of the Mack.
So another thing that I like during again the fight scene. I think the fight scenes on this one might start rivaling Arrow because they're just like everybody kicks ass. But when Rip threw the thing that froze time.
Yes.
And then he went around and was about to, and I was like, yo, that's great and all, but I don't think that's going to freeze Damien Darhk. And then all of a sudden, like, oh my God, that.
No, he needed to hurry the fuck up.
Yeah, I was like, you were going too
could have
long.
won, but he swagger walked his way through the fucking fight, and that's why he had his ass lost.
And this is why Rip sucks, yo. Like Rip, you be trying to Rip be like doing that shit where he be like trying to show off, but nobody's watching.
Yeah,
it's like. Nigga, this ain't. What are you doing? Like it's like you're rushing to catch your flight, but like you're with Rip and Rip's trying to take like a selfie Snapchat video or something like that. And you're like, hey, bro, we're gonna be late. Sorry, I got we needed, bro. We're gonna be late. We're gonna miss the flight, yo. We gotta go.
The only thing that could have made that better is if when he unfroze, Return of the Mack would have started.
Right. Oh man, that seriously is one of my favorite fights. This is one of my so far this season is my favorite action scene.
It is, and they had some good ass action this season on all three shows. And shit, even on Supergirl, but you know that action's way different because it's all super shit. But nigga, that motherfucking Return of the Mack fight just it was so funny and so well choreographed.
And then they named the episode that, yo.
Dude, they don't. That's why they're so. Listen, if the Flash can take any note from this show, that's why people love this show. Because they just were like, what if we just didn't care? Right. You know what I mean? Like, what if we just don't try to put together the most mathematically sound show, guys? I think people came to see superpowers.
You know what it is, yo? They basically do what would the legends do? Like, that's how they write the show. It's like, what would the legends do? Not give a fuck? Well, guess what, guys? This episode, we're not giving a fuck.
Right.
And it works.
So beautiful.
And it works. So, well, there you guys have it. Our recap, review, discussion of Legend of Tomorrow and a bunch of random stuff. I'm sorry for being random, but I'm not really sorry for being random. Rod, thank you very much for joining me. This has been a great fill-in for D-Palm. We'll definitely get you and Karen back on again. Can you tell people where they can find your stuff at, man?
Yeah, man. Just search the Blackout Tips. We'll come up. Leave us 5-star reviews if you decide to give us a listen. You can also find us on theblackouttips.com, and you can follow me on Twitter if you want to see my live tweets. Rodimus Prime.
And this is Super Tuesday recap. iTunes, Stitcher Radio. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MTR Network to get all our stuff on YouTube. We got a lot of new content just coming out, video content coming out for us. We just put up 2 interviews for Hulu's new show, Future Man. Phenom and I are going to review that for premium members. Hopefully this weekend or coming up next week or something like that. I think it airs on the 14th. It jumps on the 14th. They're like 30-minute episodes. They're actually pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, man. As a dude who loved Last Starfighter, I don't know how I can miss that.
Bruh, so did you ever see Sausage Party?
Yeah.
So it's Seth Rogen and them. They're behind the show. So the people who made Sausage Party are behind Future Man. Nigga.
Well, I'm gonna blow your mind. The people that made Sausage Party are also behind Preacher.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, dog. Seth Rogen done slipped up into making some great content.
Yeah, yes. So, nigga, I'm just gonna tell you this: the second episode, they go back in time, and they gotta, do you know the concept of the show? Yes. So they go back in time to stop, to try to find Keith David's character. I think it's all like in the trailer, right? And they go back to their frat party. But here's the thing: it's a black frat party. Oh. It's a black frat party in '69.
Say no more,
nigga.
I'm in.
Like the first episode, I was like, all right, this is okay. They did that episode, and because everything that goes through your mind is like, but what about? Oh, okay. But what? Okay, dude. Dude.
I can't wait to watch this now.
Oh man, it's so ridiculous and over the top, and it's hilarious, man. And again, the episodes are like 30 minutes. The episodes are 30 minutes, so like you can watch it in no time, right? Anyway, so we'll have that on premium. We just put out, and it was D-Palm. You can thank D-Palm for getting married, for having the Star Trek review up on for everybody. It's supposed to be only on the Super Tuesday recap feed, but I was tired when I put it up, and I've released it for everybody. So, ta-da, you got it. Make sure you subscribe to Super Tuesday on iTunes and everything else, though, for podcasts, because I think not this week, but next week, we're doing the review for the next set of episodes for The Gifted. So I think it'll be episodes 4 through 7, reviewing for The Gifted. So sign up for Super Tuesday to get that. And you have to stay tuned. We got all this stuff coming back. I think so. The last review that we're doing that doesn't have D-Palm, I think, is Arrow, and we'll have Justin from 3/5 Podcast on to review Arrow this weekend. So, and then next week, D-Palm will be back, and we'll review. I know some of you guys are waiting to hear us talk about the end of Inhumans. I was saving that for D-Palm to come back, so we'll finish up the Inhuman stuff. Then we'll go right into Flash and everything else. So, again, folks, just stay tuned, and thank you guys very much for listening. Until next time, we're out of here. Peace.
Peace.